The people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
Donald Trump is writing his own political obituary, and although we're only 1 month into this fustercluck, Tiny Fingers is proving that he deserves a special place in history, but not like he thinks. While Trump golfs for the 4th time since his inauguration, the world is teetering. Russia, Canada, Mexico, Greenland, NATO, China, and all of the Middle East.
And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad, this could be so magnificent.
Pouty Funkwinkle and Elon are doing exactly what they said they would, but no one really thought they would, and it's freaking out everyone, but especially MAGA Republicans. It's like a circular firing squad with an AR-15, and right now, Elon's in the middle.
You know what? Elon Musk should be president in 2028. What do you think about that?
I think that Elon Musk has no skills and no ability.
Well, he's the richest man in the world, so he's got some skills, right?
He cheats, he lies, he steals, and he bought a presidency. He has done nothing original other than to create things off of other people's ideas.
But there was also a poll last week that said 83% of Americans, 83%, disapproved of Donnie's January 6th pardons.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
And people, MAGA people, you know, the law and order people, they were especially pissed after half dozen of these terrorists were immediately arrested upon release for assorted crime, from pedophilia to assault to unlawful possession of automatic weapons. Hostages, not so much. But the new polls are even worse for Donnie Diapers, and you can see it playing out in town halls across red America. We have all that coming right up. But first, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free, it's easy, and for a limited time, everyone who subscribes gets 2 10-milligram gummies and a job as an air traffic controller. The latest polls are a reflection of all the bullshit America and the world are experiencing. And I don't mean the Gulf of America or Trump's idiotic executive orders, like he signed an executive order last week to protect TikTok. No, it's Trump and Musk's vicious cuts that are alienating Americans and Republicans. Polls indicate a strong buyer's remorse, especially among young voters, and it proves Tiny Finger's reckless agenda is backfiring. But it's what Trump thinks he can do and what he's not doing that has everyone worried and alarmed.
But what James Carville is referring to is this huge drop in support for President Trump and for Elon Musk and what he's doing at Doge. So there were a bunch of polls that came out. CNN has 2-to-1 people are upset about Musk having such a prominent role in the government. Trump's approval rating is down 5 to 7 points across 4 of these big polls. He's underwater on managing the economy, which is obviously what handed him the presidency, 8 points underwater. And then in terms of how the public is feeling, not only reflected in those numbers, did you see those town halls that were going on last night? So Rich McCormick in Georgia, safe seat, people booing him, catcalling. They're concerned with everything from spending cuts to what's going on with Doge to that Donald Trump is becoming a tyrant. Cliff Bentz in Oregon, similar reaction. This guy, Tony Balderson, he's in a Trump plus 18 district in Ohio, saying Trump's executive orders are getting out of control. They are hearing from the American public that what is going on from the Oval Office to CPAC, which is, you know, Pam Bondi being at CPAC seems like a politicization of the office, to say the least, is not what the American public wanted. They wanted someone to come in to get the economy back on track. That hasn't been happening. They wanted a different vision of getting rid of illegal immigrants. They wanted people who are actually convicted of crimes to be the ones getting kicked out, not just picking up anyone who speaks Spanish. So that's what Carville's saying, and I think it's good strategy. Let it happen.
You know, here's the problem with that. If Trump and the Reverend Mike Johnson cut social programs, that's more than Sunday morning talk. That's poor families without Medicaid and food assistance programs. Not in some shithole country, but here. If Medicaid funding is cut, millions of Americans would lose access to health care, and the healthcare system would be strained. States would have to reduce services and restrict eligibility, which would remove care for people who need it the most. And people are showing up and giving it to Republicans in spades.
All of these things have long tails and long threads. And I think what's so notable is my sources have told me that lawmakers have spent time at home this week hearing from their constituents about it. And now we're starting to see it actually on camera as reporters go to some of these town halls, including in places like Georgia, where I'll bring you into this next story. Republican lawmaker Rich McCormick faced an angry crowd during a town hall in his Georgia district last night.
Trying to do more with less. That's reasonable. What's not reasonable is taking this chainsaw approach. which they obviously admit when they fired these people and then decided, oh, we fired the wrong people. We got to bring them back in. Why is this being jammed down the pipe so rushed and sloppily? So.
A chainsaw approach, notable given what we saw at CPAC, where Elon Musk literally brought a chainsaw on stage. But look, you can see the crowd there clapping that attendee's question. And here's how McCormick then responded before the crowd interrupted him.
My understanding is when you say you have this many employees that you have to cut, that organization decides who they're going to cut. Now they may make. They were not given any.
Unlike Trump's first term, where he surrounded himself with quasi-reasonable humans like John Kelly or Rex Tillerson or Generals Milley and Mattis, this time his gaggle of piglets couldn't muster a whimper, much less an independent spine. Not to be too dramatic, but RFK's worm-addled brain is attacking vaccines that without, millions of kids would die. And Boozy Hegseth running the military is like having the drunkest person at the party drive you home. And I don't know what the is up with this hump. There is no doubt that Trump will go down in history, but not for the reasons he thinks. Trump's attack on our nation and the world is yet another grift, and these billionaires are joining in because apparently hundreds of billions isn't enough. But these polls don't surprise me, especially the dramatic drop in support from young voters facing H-1B workers stealing their jobs, inflation, tariffs, and unresolved student debt. And I don't agree with Carville that just sitting back and waiting for Trump to collapse is the right thing to do, because his fat, girdled ass won't fall on the well-off. It never does. It will fall on young people and the working poor. And I don't know how they'll respond, but I remember how they feel. Republicans at town halls are sweating for a reason, and it's time to rethink this circus.
Damn right.
I'm as mad as hell.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong? Yes. Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.